So we landed last night in Serbia and we've got an Airbnb and we're here in Kalemegdon Park and we're going to go see a fortress, right?
Yep.
And some Nikola Tesla something.
It's a squirrel.
Emma distracted by animals again.
It's a red one. It's big.
Got all these stalls as well, selling parts and Belgrade stuff and also lovely little bits of cloth. Emma, do you want some of those? Do you want some doilies?
A little bit.
They've got a little park with loads of dinosaurs. How cool is that?
They make noises. Look at his head's moving.
Emma, do you want to take the train?
Very much so, yeah.
How would you describe the park?
It's delightful. It's really big. There's loads of history, sports if you're into that sort of thing, dinosaurs. It's just cool.
Yeah, nice park, lovely stroll, nice way to spend a morning. So far, up on the Belgrade. So in the park, they have the military museum, which has an outside section with loads of old weapons. You know, one thing about these tanks is they're actually smaller than I would expect. Like, fitting a me in here, this isn't much bigger than an SUV really, is it?
I'm surprised that's a real one, to be honest, because it is small. Are we sure it's a real one?
I think it's a real one.
Yeah, it's really small.
Emma, how would you describe this museum?
For boys.
I would describe it as the bomb.
Good God.
These are the later models of tanks, which are a lot bigger. So what you saw was the very early models of tanks. So this is one of the last remaining elements of the Ottoman Empire that was in Serbia here. This is a fountain made by Mehmet. Emma?
There's a lot of signage for a very small fountain.
At this point I accidentally turned the microphone off on my camera. But here's some lovely shots of the Sava River meeting the Danube and a shot of the statue of the Victor, which was moved here after residents were outraged by his nudity.
Here's Richard being a watchman on the fortress. Overlooking the Danube. Under
this White Eagle's Knights thing, there's a gallery, which is where we had our picture taken as a king and queen, and there's a there's a store selling old looking maps, reproductions.
Perfect. How would you feel going into battle wearing this?
Not good, I feel like it's already hurt my head without anyone clobbering me yet.
Can you even see?
Yeah, I can see a little bit. We're leaving the park now because I need to go get a haircut. I've had a ridiculous beard growth over the last couple of weeks. We're going to trim that right down, so the next time you see me, I'm going to look like a sheared man. So we've taken a short taxi ride, 10 minutes from our accommodation, to the Museum of Yugoslavia, where we're going to learn all about the history of Yugoslavia and its ex-ruler Tito. Emma, are you excited for some communist history?
Very much so. So our taxi driver couldn't find it, because it's changed its name recently, so he didn't know it by its new name.
Yeah, so it used to be named after the birthday of Tito.
I think it was the 25th of May, maybe.
Something like that. So yeah, here's the Museum of Yugoslavia. So there's a cafe and souvenir shop you're definitely going to see, and there's both an old museum and a mausoleum. Oh, and they're reconstructing a new museum, so part of this maybe we won't be able to see.
So these are gifts that were given to Tito over the years. I was just thinking about the Queen's got some brilliant presents.
You never even smoked them.
How mad would you be if someone gave you that?
Why would you be mad?
Because it looks like I made it at DT at school. Good Lord.
Fragments of the moon. Good present?
That is a very good present. So I guess they took the flag of every country, like a tiny little flag of every country, to the moon so that when they got back, they could give it to them as a present. That's very cool.
What's your best present, do you think?
I don't know, I like the mosaic. There's a good, what's a horse riding thingy called? A saddle. From Algeria, that looks really good.
What would you like to have the most though?
I don't know. I think maybe the mosaic. I could hang that in my house. That'd be nice. in the 2nd century.
This is communist yoga.
So you don't actually control anything. You just get to sit and play on it. You can't control anything, can you? No. You're just having fun. Let's leave it be.
Emma, did you enjoy the Museum of Yugoslavia?
I did. It was nice to see some more modern history, because we've seen a lot of ancient stuff recently, haven't we? So the modern history was really good. A lot of people might think it was a bit of a mishmash of things, but I actually enjoyed that. There was everything from light bulbs to shoes to guns, history from World War to much more modern stuff, and it was a little bit messy, I suppose, but I think it was interesting, and I've enjoyed this museum more than others recently, I would say.
Interesting.
I thought it was good.
Lots of little knickknacks, you said?
Yeah, loads of knickknacks, arts and crafts, all sorts of stuff.
I thought it could have done with a little bit more history.
Well, yeah, you are right.
Because obviously Yugoslavia doesn't exist today. And here's a little history lesson for you very quickly. I looked this up while I was at the museum. So Yugoslavia was basically created from the breakup of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and also the Ottoman Empire. And they formed the Yugoslavian country. It was made up of the modern day republics of Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia and North Macedonia. Maybe North Macedonia? No, maybe.
Macedonia.
And also Kosovo, which is still disputed as its own independent country. Serbia claims for it to be a Serbian territory. It's this thing that's existed since the end of the First World War and is still having an effect on people's lives today.
Yeah, so they're building a new section to this museum, so it will, by the time you get to go, it might be big and shiny and a bit different, but even the smaller part I did very much enjoy, I'd say.
So many batons on display here. They love a baton.
Yeah, it's tradition between the provinces to give each other a baton, instead of a bunch of flowers or whatever people give each other. They carve unique batons and give them to each other.
His wife lived until 2013. Would you have preferred it if you got to see him lying in state?
No, when it said mausoleum, I was concerned it was going to be like a different mausoleum that we've been to, which I didn't expect actual bodies, but luckily this is just a grave.
There's a guest book to sign where you can say that I think Tito would have been a believer. It's clearly built on a hill overlooking the city deliberately, isn't it? So we're off to the National Museum of Serbia. We're going to have a look around that, and then I think we're going to jump on a tram. Is that right?
Line number 2 apparently does a loop of the main parts of the city, so we're going to try and work out how to get a ticket and get on that.
Emma, you enjoying Belgrade?
I am, it's really lovely.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, we'll see you in the National Museum. This is the National Museum. To get into it, you have to go to the right. Enjoy the Serbian Museum.
I did. It's in the centre of town, which is good, so it's easy to get to. There's a changing exhibition, which we didn't think was very good actually, did we?
No, a bit boring.
Sort of black and white drawings of some famous person that I've never heard of. It started off with literally the year 0 and moved forward, so there's lots of historical information, which is a bit too much to take in, but it's good that it's there as a reference, and lots of pots and arrowheads and things like that.
Yeah, lots of ancient stuff. We couldn't film in there, and the guards were very on it with not letting you film, which I think is kind of a good thing actually, because maybe there's too much of people trying to be YouTubers going around filming everything, and maybe we don't need as much of that. I say it as a person who does that, so I don't know. But yeah, they wouldn't let us film in there, so I guess you're going to have to take your word for it. If you're in Serbia, the National Museum of Serbia, I think, is worth your time. I think it's a really nice museum. It's big, there's loads of stuff. You can spend a couple of hours there.
Yeah,
it's great.
upstairs there's more traditional art and lots of sort of old Christian art, which I quite like because it's all painted onto wood and they're really nice colours, so I like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Our plan now is to get the number 2 tram. It's raining across the city to have a look at stuff. Apparently you buy the tickets from the My Kiosk things behind us. So we'll see if that actually works now, shall we? So we managed to get tickets, but the lady in the kiosk was quite grumpy, wasn't she? But luckily, in Serbia, basically everyone speaks English, so you can always find
Apart from that lady.
Well,
Yeah.
but there was someone around to translate. I know it's like a really bad tourist thing to be like, oh, I haven't learned any of the language and I need to. But you know, when you're moving between different countries, we don't have time to learn Serbian really.
No, it was fine. You can use Google Translate and pointing. It's okay. You just need to be aware of what you're asking for.
Yeah, we want a 90-minute ticket on Zone A. Right, and now we have to wait for the tram. So we just hopped off the tram because the driver weirdly stopped in the middle of nowhere. All the trams have stopped here and he's gone for a fag or something. So, no idea. So it's just randomly stopped in the middle of nowhere and we've hopped off to talk about it. Did you enjoy the tram?
It's a bit rickety and it's quite warm, but it's good to get an overview because so far we've only walked. So it's good to have an overview of the city.
Yeah.
You know, the round trip.
It's only £1 to get on and just have a little round trip around the city. Right, looks like our bus driver is actually getting back on. Now the 5-year-old iPad that we used to edit these videos has combusted when we've tried to make a longer video, so we're going to have to stop the first half of our Belgrade journey here. Look forward to part 2 next week. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next week.